Mr. Rahim Khan stood alone in his private study, the evening light reflecting off shelves filled with awards, photographs, and symbols of a lifetime spent conquering the business world. To the world, he was a billionaire, respected, feared, untouchable. But tonight, his thoughts were troubled. His son Amir's laughter echoed faintly from the garden below, happy and careless in a way Rahim himself had never allowed. Amir was in love, and that love had a name, Lena. Rahim had met many people who smiled at him for the wrong reasons. Gold diggers, flatterers, pretenders, he had learned to recognize them all. Yet Lena was different, or at least Amir believed so. She loves me for who I am, Amir had said confidently. Rahim wanted to believe it, but belief was expensive. Trust, once broken, could never be bought back, not even with billions. That was when the idea formed. If Lena truly loved Amir, she would show kindness even when there was nothing to gain. Early the next morning, Rahim left the mansion through a side entrance few people used. He changed into old, faded clothes, loose trousers, a worn shirt, scuffed shoes. He smeared a little dust on his hands and face, bent his posture, and studied himself in the mirror. The powerful man disappeared. In his place stood a tired, poor gatekeeper, invisible and forgettable. At the estate's main gate, Rahim took his position just as Lena and Amir's car approached. His heart beat faster than it ever had in boardrooms or negotiations. This was riskier than any business deal, because the outcome could hurt his son deeply. As the car slowed, Rahim raised a trembling hand, practicing the humility of a man used to being ignored. He watched Lena step out, her expression calm, curious, unguarded. She didn't yet know she was being tested, not by wealth or status, but by the simplest measure of all, how she would treat a stranger with nothing. Rahim swallowed hard. In that moment, he wasn't a billionaire. He was just a father, hoping not to be disappointed. The car came to a gentle stop at the iron gates, their height casting long shadows across the driveway. Mr. Rahim Khan adjusted his cap and stepped forward slowly, leaning on the small wooden baton that completed his disguise. His voice, when he spoke, was soft and uncertain. "I'm sorry, sir," he said to Amir, avoiding eye contact. "Visitors need permission before entering." Amir sighed, irritation flashing across his face. He rolled down the window and leaned forward. "We're expected," he said sharply. "Please open the gate." Before Rahim could respond, Lena placed her hand lightly on Amir's arm. "It's okay," she said, her tone calm. She opened the car door and stepped out, the gravel crunching beneath her shoes. Rahim watched closely, expecting annoyance, maybe even disdain. Instead, Lena smiled at him, an easy, genuine smile that reached her eyes. "You must be standing here all day," she said kindly. "It's very hot. Are you all right?" Rahim hesitated. No one had asked him that in years, not even when he actually was working long hours. "I'm fine, miss," he replied, his voice shaky not from acting, but emotion. Lena reached into her bag and pulled out a bottle of water. She handed it to him with both hands, as if offering something precious. "Please, take this," she insisted. "You shouldn't skip drinking water." Amir frowned slightly. "Lena, we're already late." "I know," she replied softly, never taking her eyes off the gatekeeper. "1 minute won't hurt." Rahim's throat tightened as he accepted the bottle. He noticed her patience, the way she waited without rushing him, without making him feel small. She even joked gently about how she would collapse dramatically if she had to stand under the sun like him all day, making him chuckle. Despite himself, when he finally stepped aside to open the gate, Lena thanked him sincerely, nodding with respect. As they drove in, Rahim remained standing there, staring at the receding car. His hands trembled, not because of the disguise, but because something inside him had shifted. For the first time since Amir mentioned marriage, Rahim felt a crack form in his carefully built wall of doubt. Lena hadn't known who he was. She hadn't tried to impress anyone. She had simply chosen kindness. And that, Rahim realized, was something money could never buy. Inside the vast estate, the afternoon unfolded with quiet elegance. Guests moved through marble halls, their voices low, their laughter polished. Mr. Rahim Khan, still in the clothes of a poor worker, now swept fallen leaves near the main entrance. His back ached, His hands moved slowly, and yet his mind was sharper than ever. This part of the test mattered most. Kindness at the gate could be politeness, but kindness when no one was watching revealed the truth. Most guests passed him without a glance. Some barely noticed him at all. Others stepped around him as if he were part of the floor. Rahim had seen this behavior before, from the other side of wealth, but experiencing it now felt strangely heavy. Then Lena appeared at the top of the steps. She was dressed simply, no expensive jewelry, her expression thoughtful rather than impressed by the grandeur around her. As she descended, she noticed Rahim struggling to gather a pile of leaves blown back by the wind. Without hesitation, she walked over. "May I help you?" she asked gently. Rahim looked up, surprised, not by the words, but by the sincerity behind them. "It's all right, miss," he replied. "This is my job." "I know," Lena said with a small smile. "But that doesn't mean you have to do it alone." She bent down and helped him collect the leaves, ignoring the curious looks from a few guests nearby. Rahim felt a tightness in his chest. No one had ever kneeled beside him like this when they believed he was nothing. As they worked, Lena asked about his day, his health, and finally his family. Rahim paused before answering. "I don't have anyone," he said quietly. "Just work." Lena's smile faded into something softer, sadder. "Everyone deserves someone," she said. "I hope you find that." Later, when Lena rejoined Amir, Rahim overheard her speaking in a low voice. She asked if the estate workers were treated fairly, if they had proper rest and pay. "People like him keep this place running," she said firmly. "They matter." Rahim turned away, his eyes burning with tears he hadn't allowed himself in decades. The test was over, though Lena never knew it. In that moment, the billionaire wasn't judging a fiancé. He was a father, silently thanking God for the woman his son had chosen. As evening settled over the estate, soft lights illuminated the garden, and guests gathered for dinner under a canopy of stars. Mr. Rahim Khan had changed once more, this time into a tailored suit that carried the quiet authority of a man used to being obeyed. The humble gatekeeper was gone. In his place stood the owner of everything around them. Yet his heart felt heavier than it ever had during any business victory. He cleared his throat, and the gentle hum of conversation faded. "I would like everyone's attention," Rahim said. His voice was steady, but his hands were not. Amir straightened, confused, while Lena looked on with polite curiosity. Rahim's eyes found hers, and for a brief moment, he saw not his son's fiancée, but the woman who had offered water, dignity, and compassion to a stranger. "This evening," he continued, "I must tell you the truth about someone you met today." He stepped forward and slowly removed the cap he had worn earlier. Holding it up for all to see, recognition dawned across the crowd. Gasps rippled through the guests. Amir's eyes widened in disbelief as the pieces fell into place. Lena froze. Her face went pale, not with fear, but shock. She took a small step forward, her voice trembling. "Sir, did I do something wrong?" The question struck Rahim like a blow. He swallowed hard, his carefully controlled emotions breaking free. "No," he said, his voice cracking. "You did everything right." Tears welled in his eyes as he explained the test. His doubts, his disguise, his need to know whether the woman his son loved valued people without power or wealth. Lena listened in silence, her hands clasped tightly, not once interrupting or defending herself. When Rahim finished, the garden was silent. Then Lena spoke softly. "I didn't know who you were," she said. "I just saw someone who deserved respect. That was it." Rahim's composure shattered. He stepped forward and embraced her, holding her as if she were his own daughter. Tears streamed down his face, unashamed and free. "My wealth built walls all my life," he said through sobs. "But your heart opened the gate." Amir watched, his own eyes wet, as his father pulled back and placed Lena's hand in his son's. "I trust you with my greatest treasure," Rahim said. "My son." In that moment, no one remembered the billionaire. They remembered the tears of a father who had finally found peace.